What do you think about Senior Verdict? Who? Are we rolling right now?
We are rolling right now.
So we took a break, and I decided that I was really, really hot. I mean, I'm not trying to be conceited. I have a lot of humility. But I decided that the pink that I was wearing was just so bright and so loud that it was making me really, really hot. And it was also kind of a thick jacket, so I actually brought...
You were warm.
I brought 3 jackets
I noticed that.
I just didn't know what I was feeling. And
what do they call that? A wardrobe malfunction?
No, they call it, I believe it's called analysis paralysis.
Oh.
When you can't decide what you're going to wear and you just sit there trying to decide what you're going to wear. Yeah. See, I'm learning something. Did you see that?
You did. You just dropped that.
Although I did buy the jackets. I didn't sit there and look at them for a long time. I did actually purchase the jacket.
That is hilarious.
So, okay. I know that we're going to get off topic for just a second because I want to add a little bit of level of business. So if you are in sales and someone you're trying to sell to has a lack of decision problem, how do you push them without getting them angry and not wanting to do business with you?
Man, I think it's just, for me, I believe what worked the best was to really be extremely grateful that they were there and that you were allowed to pitch them, but that you genuinely did not expect any participation, and you still thanked them for being a part of the conversation.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You follow me?
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm so glad you guys came in today. If nothing else happens, if I never see you again, I'm so glad I got to meet you.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
So you're more just selling yourself than making them make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Now,
I'm great at that.
Now, that for me, that was completely genuine. 100% genuine. I'm not like, that's not my sales pitch. That's how I really felt. Like, John and Mary, thanks for coming in today. It was so awesome to meet you. If I never see you again, if you never buy from us, if the home doesn't work for you, I still had a delight meeting you, and hopefully our paths will cross again someday. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Boom, done, over. And they're like, no sales pitch? Like, no contract signed here? No, we're good. It's all great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then 3 months later, they buy a house,
Yeah.
So, yeah, fun stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was a neat little intro back in after your jacket changed. I think the topic, I'm going to order that book, and I want to go deeper in some of those subjects.
You really should. You're going to get a highlighter.
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff.
I don't read a book without a highlighter and a blue pen.
If I had an extra copy of it, I would stamp it and give it to you like you did to start with
Copycat.
No, I would just use your stamp if I had an extra book. And it'd be a gift to yourself because that's how good the book is. You should just gift yourself with that book.
That's so funny. Well, one day we'll have to go a little bit into that, and I'll tell you the story behind that and why that's important to me. Because I did bestow a book on you, and it had my little stamp in it and everything. So, yeah, very cool. But I do want to order that book. I want to read it in its entirety, and then we can go a little bit deeper into the subject that you kind of broached today. But let's segue.
Yes, episode 300. We can get back to what it means to be a man.
Wow.
And
that's...
And we'll
and you know what's funny?
Spray tan.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
I'll probably just be tan, but you can spray people.
I'm going to have spray tan. In fact, I may just fit body.
So let me throw something out there. By the time we get to episode 300, that I will probably have fixed all the shit that's wrong with me. So that'll give me plenty of time.
And I'm going to know a lot more.
293 episodes from now, you will know a lot more. Wow, think about that.
I am going to be really good at spilling some BS.
Yeah, you will. That's funny because in episode 6, I said something, I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I've always been this and I've always been that. And if one of my close friends texted me, and he was always like, always been full of shit. I was like, thanks, buddy, for the encouragement.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you can take that with a grain of salt. But you will know a lot more. And what I hope more than anything is that you not only get the knowledge, we talked about that, but you put the knowledge to work. Right. And you start something, whatever that looks like.
I decided which jacket I was going to wear.
Yeah.
After the second one.
Yeah. I was fine with the pink one, but that one does match your bracelet. What the hell
it
is
does.
That?
I feel like I like wearing bracelets.
Okay.
There's something about a bracelet that makes me feel like I'm prepared for battle. When I put this on every day, I'm like, all right, cool.
I thought maybe they were like prayer beads or something. You were like, I'm praying.
No.
No? Okay, that's cool too.
They're actually kind of faded, but
they match the jacket, and that's all that counts.
Thanks.
So we have a bartender here today.
We have a bartender?
We have a bartender.
You went all out.
I don't do anything halfway.
Wow.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But yeah, so we have a bartender. She's back there right now mixing up our first 007 martini, dry martini, shaken, not stirred. Oh, I just heard the door open. I do believe that.
I'm really shocked right now. You hired a bartender for a podcast.
This is, and she has made us some dry martinis so we can be just like James Bond.
Thank you.
That's why we're recording in the afternoon. Thank you. And not in the morning like we usually do.
Right. I have a policy where I can't drink while I'm at lunch and go back to work, so I'm not going to do that. So.
Oh, wow, that sucks. We don't have that policy.
Oh, nice.
We don't have that policy. Maybe we should implement that policy.
You might get a lot more work done.
Nah, probably not. So cheers to episode 007.
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. Ching, ching.
Oh,
that is good.
I just got it all over my shirt.
Did you really spill that?
I just spilled that on my shirt.
You know what? I'm going to give a shout out. That's so good.
That's
folks.
a really good martini.
Just letting you know. We made that with Austin Reserve, which is made by Revolution Distillery down in Austin. Mm-hmm. And it's got a little citrus twinge to it. So normally, if you wanted to have a different version without the olive, you could have a lemon twist.
Yeah.
That gin already has a little citrusy bent to it, so it's quite nice. Yeah.
So okay, let's settle a debate here. So this is actually made with gin, right?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so some people think that a martini should be vodka.
Well, that's what it's called, a vodka martini. You just switch it up. But a martini, you don't call it a gin martini.
No,
I don't.
But a standard martini is gin.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Did you ever bartend?
Usually extra dry or dry gin. But I chose to use this because I like the flavoring. I think it's pretty good. Now, that's straight gin. There's no additives.
Oh, that's great to know.
So don't drink it like water. I mean, unless you just want to go from... Because all I have to do is be like... And we'll have another one very quickly. Goodbye, young lady.
That did not work. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. Have a good night. Sorry, I just, yeah.
Almost dropped that one. Anyway, good stuff. So I believe, and I'm old school, and gin in the martini.
So is there,
shaken, not stirred.
So what did you ever bartend? I mean, I know you had some restaurant.
Yes, sir. I did. Absolutely.
Where did you bartend at?
Different places. I'm not going to divulge.
You've been around a lot of places. You've been around the world.
I did a little bartending here and there during those off seasons when construction was ebbing and flowing and it was cold or wet or whatever. And I did, we talked a little bit about my stint in the restaurant business as a server and back of house, front of house, bartender, the whole 9 yards.
You worked at one of my favorite places ever that they make the best fajitas.
I did not work at the Olive Garden. That's one place I did not work.
That is one of my nice establishments that I take people when I go fancy.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. So, no, but yeah, you worked for a place that have the best fajitas ever. But anyway, so getting back on topic. So when you bartended, what did you learn? What did you learn from that?
That's an interesting question.
Well, I mean, I feel like you should learn something from every job experience, right?
Of course. So being a bartender is kind of like being a salesman. You're refining your communication skills with all walks of life, all different classifications of people, right? Mm-hmm. So every race, creed, color, gender, philosophy, especially philosophy and political, because everybody wants to talk about their beliefs, both political, about faith, the world, how everybody should be doing it the other way, that they're not, et cetera, et cetera. And then as you inject alcohol into that, the conversations just go all over the place. So,
wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a fun time. Those were fun times. Young, fun times, So 21-ish, 23, 4, 5, right in that range.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me more about this this just martini, because it's not a vodka martini.
Right.
It's just a martini has gin. Do we have vermouth in this? And
We do. We have extra dry vermouth.
Okay, so this is really loaded.
So, yeah, well, I mean, vermouth is just a, real low grade, nothing major. It's just
I don't know
flavoring.
anything about that. I never.
Well, it's made from wine.
Ah,
So you have white vermouth and red vermouth.
okay.
But usually the extra dry is going to be your white. And so typically how we would prepare them, and I did give a little, she's a bartender as well, but I gave her a little notation on the way I would like it, and it was just a splash of vermouth swirled around the glass. Sometimes a chilled glass is good too, if you can do that. It's not really paramount here because we're shaking them real good. And then I would typically just take the vermouth, swirl it around, and then let the excess kind of wing its way out of the glass, and the rest kind of adhered to the glass. The little droplets that stayed, and then you shake the hell out of the gin over ice, then you pour that out in the glass very slowly. Allow it to go from the bottom up. You don't splash it in. You kind of pour it in, and then garnish with olives. Some people like olives. These are olives, and you could do that also with onions. The little little garnished bar onions. Those are cool. That might be a gimlet with omelets. I can't remember gimlet. Okay. It's different. Anyway, different recipes. My brain's not going back that far. Yeah, olive or a twist, and I prefer the olives. It's a bar snack.
I do like Oliver Twist. It's a really good.
Wow.
Like, please, sir, I want more.
Please, sir,
I want more.
I want more. We can have more. We need to get this one down so the topic can lighten up a little bit.
So
it's fun. It's fun stuff. Yeah.
So what makes a martini dirty?
Olive juice.
So how much olive juice? Like if you said a 1 to 10 on a dirty scale, 10 being the dirtiest. But I guess that's just straight up olive juice with a little bit of gin.
Yeah, probably.
So,
something like that, yeah.
So where are we? We're about like a 2?
This is not a dirty martini. There is zero olive juice in this.
So this is just straight.
This is a straight martini.
I really like it a lot.
Martini.
And Austin, what was it called?
Reserve.
Austin Reserve.
Is the gin. Yeah,
okay.
And it already has a little citrus bent to it, so that's why you don't really have to add twist, and you can kind of get both worlds. So I like it.
Is that sold locally, or is that you
can get that locally? But nice. There is no olive juice in this, so it is not a dirty martini. It is not a 1 or a 10 on that scale.
Literally 0, episode 7.
Yeah, 0.
Bam!
7.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, got that?
Yeah, I got that.
Nice.
All right, cool.
It's been a few days since we have recorded the last episode.
Yes,
and things have been bouncing around your head, different parts of what we talked about, maybe even all the way back to episode 1 through 6. Where are you at with everything? Like, I know that you've kind of strategized on your credit card. You've had some wins. You're trying to work on your stuff. Where are you at with everything, and what can I help you with? He's going to take another big drink. You see that? That's a gulp. Yeah. Martinis are meant to sip and conversate. So you sip and you talk.
I'm not good at either one.
But you could guzzle too. Then we'd be hammered.
I'm trying to get the questions to be even better.
Oh my gosh.
No.
I like it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of at a place where I'm just kind of I wouldn't say stagnant, but I'm in a place where right now my goal is to get the credit card paid off.
Yeah.
It's to keep doing everything I can in that. With Comedy Group, we're growing. And so it's kind of at a place where right now the plan is I guess you could say right now I'm just kind of working on that credit card.
Yeah.
Obviously I have life goals, but I need to have some debt, gone before I go to that next step. Where that next step is another endeavor as far as what I do career-wise, and if that's own my own company, well, I don't need to have debt, I don't need to have debt going into business debt.
Right.
So I know the first step right now is just to keep chipping away at my credit card.
And it's not huge. We outlined the amount last time, so it's definitely achievable.
Right.
Have we put a timeline on it yet? Like I said, I think comfortably I can do it in this much time. If I
think comfortably I could have it gone in 3 months.
Wow.
That's one thing with the shows that I do. So with improv and the improv community, we're actually in a rare place where we don't have an improv market. Like Chicago, LA, New York, it's very rare for an improviser to get paid.
Right.
Like we're talking people who have gone on to be on SNL. They were discovered not getting paid. They just love doing what they did.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to get the stage experience.
Which is a great strategy, by the way, for anybody doing anything. Go ahead.
It is.
Continue.
It is. But the great thing of being in a place where there isn't an improv market, we don't have competition. We have something that is actually bringing people, and we're partnered with a great theater in the city of Tyler.
So you're able to charge.
We are.
Oh.
And we're able to do a door split. So we're able to actually make some good supplemental, it's more hobby income, if you will.
Sure. But something that you can earn and throw 100% of it against your debt because you don't need it.
Right. This is the first year I'm not getting a tax return back.
Wow. That's great. I would applaud that, actually.
Would you really?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because when you get a check back, you're getting your money back from the government at no interest. Like they kept your money all year long. Oh, and then they give it back to you, and they didn't give you a fee for using your money all year long. So you always want to be as close to zero, up or down, as you can possibly be. So you either want to owe a little bit or get a little bit.
Yeah.
Or be zero. Right. That to me, for everyday situations, that is like crucial. You want to adjust your withholdings to where you're getting nothing back or very little. Because if you're getting $1,000 or $5,000 refund, it's your freaking money.
Well, I guess the same too, if that just also means that I made more than, where I needed to pay something because I owed something.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have another close friend who's in the banking business, and he says, I would always rather pay more tax. What's the gist behind that? That means I'm paying more tax because why? I made more money, right? I also want to use the tax code and all the laws inside that to save myself tax consequence or tax indebtedness, what I need to pay and adjust as we move through the years. But at the same token, I'm always looking to pay more because I'm earning more. Right. You're always going to pay more if you earn more at some point. Yeah. So if I'm paying less tax or getting refunds, I'm in a bad spot. Financially speaking, that's a bad place to be. Like, you don't want to be there. You want to keep your money and give the government just what's due. So adjust your withholdings to where you're either slightly owing or slightly getting as close to zero as possible. Always be bouncing around. And if you have a job where it doesn't ebb and flow and it's a constant and you've been there 5 years or 10 years or whatever, and you're getting a refund every year, you need to look at that. Because literally you just gave the IRS a no interest loan of your money and they gave it right back to you. And that's bullshit. But that's how it works. So a lot of times with families and stuff, it can be earned income, and I get it and all that. But some of the tax laws and things, as they change, you want to be as close to zero as possible, always. And you should always be exploring that early in the year prior to the deadline and trying to, work on that. And it's timely because April 15th is right around the corner.
Right.
But, yeah, you should always look at that and be adjusting that as close to zero as possible. So if you've been at your job 5 years and then you got married and then you had a kid, 3 different scenarios. Adjust.
Which, if we're looking at tax laws, that's you picked up an independent.
Yeah.
So you're likely to get money back.
So you want to adjust your withholdings to where you don't.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You want them to take out less because now you have a dependent that's a deduction, and you want them to take out less, which means you kept that money in August, September, October, November, December. You kept it instead of giving it to them at no interest and then getting it back after the fact. What's the point? That's stupid. Why would you do that? Not stupid. That's ignorant. It's ignorance. You don't know any better, so you just do it. You're like, look at my tax refund. No. Dave Ramsey talks about this all the time. He's beating that drum right now to death. He needs to put a new skin on it because everybody's frothing at the mouth over their huge tax return or their tax return in general. And like, as soon as I get my tax return, I'm going to buy a new couch. No. That's your money. You just gave it to them for a year with no interest. They didn't give you anything for it.
Well, I will say it would be nice if rather than owing $200 to give to the government, that I got, say, $1,000 back, and that would cut my credit card debt in half.
No.
That wouldn't?
No, because you think about it. You get $1,000 back. It's your money. Had you had that $1,000 the prior 6 months or 12 months, You could have put it on your credit card yourself, $50 at a time.
Right.
So why would you give it to them? Never, ever.
Right.
Yeah. So adjust. As life ebbs and flows, every year you should be looking. If you've had any circumstances change in your life, you should be looking right now, people. If you're listening to this, call your tax accountant right now. Maybe too late, but the point is you need to make adjustments as you move through life. Don't expect a big tax return. That's not cool. That's your money. Don't give it to them monthly and expect a big return at the end of the year. Please don't do that.
All right, cool.
But that's good that you're making progress. I'm excited that you could do it in 3 months aggressively. So let's just do it, and we can talk about it 3 months from now.
Wait, I don't have a show in May.
Oh, my God.
I'm putting my extra money towards that. If I make any extra, that's what it's going towards.
So the point is that we want to make sure that we're deducting the right amount from the taxes on the monthly or the weekly or the biweekly take from the government so that we're getting our money weekly, monthly, biweekly, and they're not getting it interest free, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So we can move on. I think everybody got that.
Yeah. So I guess it means for the job that I do get a W-2 for that I need to adjust how much I'm giving the government versus what I'm getting in my paycheck.
Yeah, and honestly, if it's as small as $1,000, you might not be able to adjust it that much. Like you might, it might take you the opposite direction. It may be such a swing that it goes $1,000 you owe, which is still okay.
Right.
Which is still okay.
But if I had to give out $1,000 IRS right now, I'd be freaking out.
But
I'd probably put it on my credit card.
You would. You wouldn't because you wouldn't because you'd have that money all year long set aside inside your budget and you would just pay the debt. Aha.
Thank you.
Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah. See that? That's how that works. Cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's always good just to ask somebody about it. Walk into H&R Block, call an accountant friend, tax preparer, maybe even just a phone call. If you work at a big company, they have an HR department. The HR director can answer that for you.
Or a finance person.
Yeah, of course. It's an easy thing. Don't sweat it. It's an easy conversation to have. It's an easy thing to do. It's one piece of paper, and you're done.
So, how long? When you started your own business, how far did it really take you to understand the whole tax situation? And do you need another drink on that question?
No, but I have a topic for another episode soon to come. And it revolves around how you go from doing business. And this isn't my original thought. This is my CPA. We have an in-house CPA, staff accountant. That's not probably genuine enough because she is literally a CPA. So she has been with me long enough. She's observed some of these large-scale moves in the right direction, more towards a corporate operative kind of legitimate functioning business kind of thing. She's seen that grow. And so therein lies the question, when do you transition from a good old boy, I just started my biz, to literally operating like a Fortune 500 company from a protocol, policy, procedure standpoint, right?
Yeah.
And so that's an interesting place to go, and I'd like to do that sometime in the future. We'll talk about that off camera and do that. But your question was?
How long it really took you to understand the tax process as a business owner?
So fortunately, I had the privilege of working around a tax accountant early on in my business. He was not only a family friend, but almost like a father figure. It's funny, his nickname was Bookie, and he was a CPA, so that's kind of funny.
Thank you very much.
But
thank you for the martini.
And I'll take another one when you get ready. Anyway. So I had the fortunate experience to work with Bookie, and as a young man, he taught me a few things about taxes, how to conduct yourself, how to write things off, how to document, because that's crucial in small biz.
And social media, like document, don't create.
There you go, too. Yeah, that's the same thing. And obviously he's talking about receipt gathering and keeping files for a number of years and all this kind of stuff. Instead of just throwing that shit out at the end of the year, you can look, you got to keep that for 10 years. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Thanks. Put it in a box in the attic, that kind of stuff. Anyway, I was real fortunate, to have his insight, and he did my taxes for, several years. Before I moved to a different firm. He got to a retirement age and moved on. He's since passed away, but every time around this time of year, I think about him. I think about him more often than that because he was a personal friend. But I think about him about this time of year. So
okay, so that actually kind of leads me back to our topic of 007 about what makes a man.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some inspirations that you've had in your personal life that have taught you about how to be a man?
We have to talk about that today? No, I'm kidding. You know, we talked about a couple of episodes ago, we talked about Tommy Yin.
Yeah.
The Asian restaurateur,
right.
real estate mogul. Definitely Bookie, my tax accountant for the first several years of my business. He was even around when I was like doing business as a DBA, doing business as, not even a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Transitioned from that into 2 corporations, and then he did that for a season. Then I moved on when he retired. But yeah, several people like that. I'll name some more here in just a second. Anyway, several other gentlemen. You know what's interesting about the mentor-mentee relationship, or even just the father-son figurative kind of conversations we could have? I can think of many of those gentlemen have already passed on. You know, they're gone. So all of their information is gone. It's gone. All their insight, all their intuition, all those guttural feelings they had, it's gone. Which is another reason that we document, not create. You know? So what if 500 people watch this episode? My kids can watch this episode.
Right. Well, and I think
be like,
too, what the things that you teach
oh,
your
look
kids,
at great granddad, Senor Verde. What is that all about? You know? And so not only is this a historical record of what, you know, not only is this like a proliferation of me going into the marketplace and doing what I want to do as a businessman and entrepreneur, but this is a historical record. I said that in reverse of what the fuck I'm doing every day. Generations, that intellectual property, all that's coming out of this right now, generations from now. Now, maybe it gets lost and it's gone forever. Who cares? Whatever. I'm gone. I don't care. But maybe it lasts. Maybe it lasts. You know, I've heard Gary Vaynerchuk say, what would it be like to sit back and watch VHS tapes, which is what it literally would have been, of Jeff Bezos in his garage packing books in fucking boxes? What would it have been like to see, you know, Thomas Edison literally working on the light bulb? Not just these pictures that we have in these stills, which is kind of back in that day, we had a little bit of our, but what would it be like to be with Sam Walton the entirety of his career as he's out there pitching his Walmart, you know, scenario to different people? We'll go into that one day, and I've got a really cool story around that. That's going to blow some of y'all's minds. But anyway, what would it have been like? So if for no other reason that we're putting this information out there, and Haas is over here rolling tape on this, or using camera, rolling tape's an old school way to say it.
It goes to the VHS.
Yeah. The historical record of what we're doing is awesome. Think about that. You know? I think that scientists who are studying cancer research right now should be documenting every single step of the way. Of course, they are in paper. Maybe some of them are on video, closed circuit security cameras and shit like that. But I'm talking about real world, in your face documentation.
So you can look at the history of medicine and see, well, obviously they did something right, and now look where we are now.
Right.
So that's kind of the same thing you're kind of saying, but that's just the reverse of it. You know, and there's no telling where we can go with the future.
Not everybody can afford to have a videographer following them around every day.
I can't.
Right. But what you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I get that. But everybody in the developed world has some sort of smartphone.
Right.
You can get a gimbal and you can hold the phone out and you can do different things. You can set it up on a tripod, for Christ's sake, and just sit there at your computer and do your thing. The point of it, what I'm trying to make is, we talk about this a lot. We don't document every single second. We miss some moments. And I'm like, shit, guys, we should have had the camera on. You know, we miss it. We miss it. And I feel like that angst. So now I'm like, every second, every day, right? So, because I get it. Those moments, you can't predict when they're going to happen, when that epiphany is going to happen, when that light bulb moment's going to explode and it's going to be real, and you don't have it rolling or you don't have it documented. And that, I think, just for my kids and then my kids' kids, being able to see dad and granddad at that point and how I did what I do. I mean, that piece of it alone is, to me, enough. It's worth the investment. it's totally worth the investment, because that piece alone, it's the historical record that you were here, you did this, and here's how you failed, and here's how you made it. Dude, that is so, I am so into it. I mean, I never looking back, ever. So watching how that plays out inside the world of someone like Gary Vee, who's a personality, and he's Gary Vee, but he's Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm Senior Verde, but I'm S.E. Green. You know, watching how that plays out is it's extraordinary for me as a user to look inside that world and watch. I'm experiencing the same stuff he's experiencing. He's a whole nother level. I get it, but I'm experiencing what he's experiencing. I get it. And so once I hit that unlock, there was no way I was ever going back. Where we were going with that, I can't remember, but I'm super excited about it.
You were talking about people in your life who were mentors to you and they've kind of passed on, but you mentioned that everything they did is gone. Their intuition, but at the same time, they inspired you.
They did.
So it's not technically gone. And
no,
that's also your purpose.
It lives on as long as I can recall it and I can articulate it in their stead, right?
Right.
So if I call out Bookie's name and I say, he said this, Tommy Yin said this, so-and-so fill in the blank said this. But for the most part, for the majority of it, think about the 60, 70 years they lived, those gentlemen lived, 80, whatever it was, that's gone. And I'm in my 40s, 46. I don't want mine to be gone. I want it to live on. That's what everybody really wants anyway, right? Live forever, in a box with a screen on it or whatever it is. But where I was going with that a while ago is some of them had passed on, and then we segued into the information part of it and the documenting. But some of them I fell out of favor with. Like I did something they didn't like, so they no longer associated with me. Right. Or they did something I didn't like, and I no longer associate with them. So that ebbs and flows, and you're not always going to make a 100% judgment call on the quality of the information that you're getting from the individual that you've aligned yourself with. That needs to be a quote. Okay? That needs to be a quote. What I'm saying is people change. Circumstances happen. People's true colors shine when things get tight or things get rough or things excel. Maybe somebody becomes uber successful and all of a sudden they're a dick. That happens. That's real world shit, right?
Well, I think that's where you lose the fact that you get super successful and you're not humble.
That could be a part of it.
All of a sudden you're not an ideal team player.
Yeah.
Who wants to follow someone that's like that all the time?
Right.
There's a little narcissism that comes into play and no one's going to want to follow that.
That's right. And narcissism's a fine line.
Well, and I think that
confidence and arrogance, fine line. Where I draw a line sometimes is when someone that I've aligned myself with, and I still have mentors and people that I'm aligned with. They might be younger than me, older than me. It doesn't really matter. Some people have a lot to give. When someone crosses the line and says, you should have done it this way, to me, that's not teaching. The better response when you make a decision or you go a direction and you're working with someone like a mentor and they say that, they kind of lose a little street cred with me. What I'm looking for is, look, I know what you did, you really believed was correct and right. Let me give you another point of view. Here's the way I view that. Not you should have or you need to or you have to. Those are that's arrogance. That's pride. That's me trying to control you as a kingmaker, so to speak. And I'm not into that. Like, I want somebody that's going to bring me alongside and say, man, love you to death. I have a problem with how you handle this, or this. But at the same time, that's you. It's on you. I get it. But here's how I would have done it. Consider that next time. That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Right.
But when someone says you should have, or I wouldn't have, or this is what you should do next time, or I don't think.
Well, what about this is how I would do it? I mean, that's okay, right?
This is how I would do it.
That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it that way.
You have to always that's what I'm telling everybody on these episodes and all these posts. This is what worked for me. This is what I believe. And I'm pretty sure that it'll work for you because I'm following in the footsteps of other people that are much more successful than I am. And I'm putting into practice what they said. I'm putting into practice and executing on what I believe they stand for. And it's working. So why would it be any different?
Right.
Why would I need to change it? You know, I might put my spin on it. I might say that, well, that's cool and I like that. But I believe you could probably do it this way too. Because there's always different ways to skin a cat, they say, have the PETA people coming down on us pretty soon.
Or eat an elephant.
Yeah, eat an elephant. Yeah, one bite at a time. Those poor cats and elephants, they get it all the time. Jesus help us. Anyway, the point, that's the martinis talking. The point of it is, when you're out there looking for mentors, don't disqualify someone based on their.
Yeah. Okay. Actually.
Yeah.
What?
I was going to go a direction. I'm going to circle back after your question.
Okay. So if you're looking for a mentor, what should you look for in a mentor? What is the quality that they possess?
So it's so timely, and it's unbelievable that you're dropping this, because I'm quite sure you don't know who Tom Bilyeu is.
No.
Okay. So he just posted something today or yesterday about what are the characteristics you should look for in a mentor. And I should pull it up and just read the post, verbatim, because
I want to know what you do.
Well, because it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, what he's saying is someone that's aligned with your beliefs, someone that you aspire to be, someone that stands for the same things that you stand for, someone that is basically the future version of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like
right?
that. Yeah.
The future version of yourself.
Right.
It is the person that you should align yourselves with, or at least look towards as a beacon on the hill that you can chase after, even if it's distant. Like, when I say distant, I mean Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. That's distant. But you can follow and you can look inside that person's world and you can take information from them and you can execute on it. Or maybe there's someone that's not so distant. Maybe there's someone at your organization, within your company, or within your religious organization that you're aligned with, or wherever, your Boy Scout group, your running group, your biking group, your meditation group, whatever it is. You keep your eyes open and you find those people. You look inside their world deep enough to know superficially they are aligned with your beliefs and how you want to see your future self. Then you engage. Hey, what is it I can do for you to bring you value? Because I just want to be close to you. I want to get as close to you as possible. And I see that you're a great coach, and I want to be a great coach someday. Can I just come to your practices and get your players water? Cool, yeah. That's giving value to that person. You have to bring value to the other party. And I don't know what that looks like for everybody. I think for some of my mentors, it was the son they never had because they had daughters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that was what I brought to the table for that other party. Or they saw the grind, the hustle, the hard work, the ingenuity, the that little spark of future success. Mm-hmm. And they looked at me and they were like, "Ooh, that was me 20 years ago. That was me 30 years ago. I want to get with this kid and show him the ropes." Right?
Yeah.
So I saw in them what I needed. They saw in me a spark of their former self, and wanted to help guide me along. So yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So look for that person that is a version of your future self. That's a quote, Haas. Boom.
So you have a 40-year plan.
I do have a 40-year plan. Damn, you're good. You remember stuff.
So the 40-year plan and what that looks like in 40 years, who is that?
It's very interesting.
Is that you, or is that someone that you wanted to be like?
It's totally me.
And how do you know when you're there? Because I mean, you could hit that goal before the 40-year plan's up, right? Or is like what's going to let you know that you've made your life plan?
So the 40-year plan, this is so crazy. The 40-year plan involves a myriad of different businesses and endeavors that all revolve around a central theme and philosophy of how I want to finish my life and be remembered. That crazy entrepreneur from Texas. ... And there's a lot of things that play into that. I don't know how many I should share or not share, but they have a lot to do with boots, cigars, tequila, and rock and roll. And that's about as much as I can say, But those are the things. The legacy is not the boots, the tequila, and the rock and roll. That's the fun part of it. That's a part of the 40-year plan. But what they do and what all the endeavors between here and there do is they pull so many people up out of the muck and mire of day-to-day life and propel them to some level that they try to achieve that they might not achieve had they not heard the words that came out of my mouth. And that may be a lofty endeavor, but I've lived a hard life, dude. I've paid my dues. There's been a lot of blood and a lot of tears. And so with that experience, and I'm 46, with that experience, what I want to do is I want people to listen. Just listen. and then leapfrog a lot of the horse shit that I dealt with along the way. Move on. Let's go. You know, if you're listening and that's what you want to do, then you're listening to the right source. Because I'm only going to ever give you the truth. I'm only going to ever give you my advice. I'm only going to ever give you what I've experienced firsthand. It's not some ethereal, high-fiving on the stage kind of motivational speaker horse shit. That's not what I'm about.